Hey there, welcome to the newsletter training today. I want to get started here. We're going to talk about how to start your newsletter, how to get your first 10,000 subscribers, and how to generate $10,000 per month or more in sales. Before we get started, I wanted to share with you my primary phone number, my primary email address. So if you have questions about this or the things I'm talking about in this presentation, feel free to reach out to me. First of all, who is this for? Is this a good fit for you or not? If you are someone who wants to start a newsletter, but you don't know how, or you don't even know if you should, this is going to help you. If you have 0 to 10,000 subscribers and you want to learn how to grow faster and make more money from your email list, this will help. Or if you have a 6 or 7 figure media business or education business and you want to learn cutting edge tactics that are working right now to make more money from your list, this is for you. Here's what you're going to learn today. We're going to talk about how to pick a lucrative niche for your newsletter, how to create a newsletter offer so good it would be stupid not to sign up to, how to create a newsletter template and write high quality content in less than 2 hours per week with it, how to turn one weekly newsletter into over 500 posts per year that bring in tens of thousands of new subscribers, how to get subscribers on autopilot with a set and forget growth method, the number one way to scale your email list to 100,000 or over 1 million subscribers profitably, and how to make $1 to $3 every time someone signs up for your newsletter, how to sell sponsorships even if you have a small list, and how to make money in your sleep with email automation. We have a lot of stuff to cover the day. I'm also going to tell you at the very, very end how you can work with me to grow your business, but 95% of this content is going to be educational. You will get ROI in your time. I promise you this will be the most valuable 60 minutes or so of newsletter training that you'll ever watch if you take that time with me today. I want to start with a pop quiz. Question number 1 of the quiz. How many emails are worldwide? A, 500 million, B, 1.2 billion, C, 1.4 billion, or D, 4.2 billion? The answer is D. It's a crazy number. 0.26 billion people worldwide use email, and that's in 2022. There were about 4 billion email users, and that number is projected to reach 4.7 billion by 2026. That's really impressive considering the population of Earth is about 8 billion people, and over half of them are using email. In the United States, 92% of the digital population used email in 2022. Question number 2. Which email newsletter business sold for $525 million in 2022? Is it Morning Brew, The Hustle Industry Dive, or Axios? The answer is actually C and D. Industry Dive and Axios were both acquired separately for $525 million, both in 2022. Question number 3. What are the startup costs for an email newsletter business? A, $0, B, $5,000, C, $10,000, and D, $100,000. You might have guessed this one. The answer is $0. It costs $0 to start a newsletter. All you need is a laptop, an internet connection, and a free plan with any email service provider like Beehive or whatever you choose to use. Question number 4. What platform allows you to own your audience and does not put an algorithm between you and the people who want to receive your content? Is it YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or of course, email? These are getting a little bit easier as we go. The answer is email. With email, there's no algorithm or gatekeepers filtering your content from your audience. You own your email list and you can move it from any email service provider to send emails. You can even use multiple email service providers if you wanted to. It's a direct line to your audience's inbox. And email is a free and open decentralized protocol that can't be taken away, unlike the accounts that you build on social media. For example, 100,000 email subscribers is a direct line to 100,000 people's inboxes at the moment you send the email, instead of being at the mercy of algorithms. As long as those subscribers agree to receive emails from you, you own an audience, and nobody can take away your email list. Final question here. Does it make sense to start an email newsletter so you can own your audience and build a perpetual income stream online? The answer is yes. Email newsletters are the best way to own your audience, build your influence, and grow a business online. An engaged newsletter enables you to stop renting your audience and become a landlord. This is a profound advantage in life. And this is exactly what I'm going to show you how to do today. So if you want to start a newsletter, get your first 10,000 subscribers, and make $10,000 per month or more in sales. That's what we're going to do today. You're also going to learn a whole lot more, and you can also make newsletters a whole lot bigger. For example, this is a client of mine. His name is Guy Short. He is the founder of the Flyover newsletter. Guy said what he learned from me enabled him to start a newsletter and build that newsletter to over 750,000 subscribers profitably in just 17 months. They went from 0 to 7 figures in ad revenue in just 17 months. And Guy told me he's on track to finish the year with over $2 million in sales. That's pretty cool. Before we get into the content today, I want to tell you briefly who I am, why you should listen to me. I'm Matt McGarry. I'm the founder and CEO of GrowLetter. We are a marketing agency that works with media companies, newsletters, and education businesses. Some of our clients include Charter, The Milk Road, James Clear, Cody Sanchez, 1440, Nautilus, Sahil Bloom, and many, many more. I got my start in newsletters working at The Hustle. A lot of you might know this company. It was founded by Sam Parr. My job there was to lead growth, help us grow and monetize the newsletter, acquire more subscribers profitably. We were acquired by HubSpot in 2022 for $27 million. And The Hustle now has over 2.5 million newsletter subscribers. It's one of the biggest and most successful newsletters in the world. After The Hustle was acquired by HubSpot, I stayed on there, started working at HubSpot, and I had a little bit more free time in my hands. So I started doing some freelancing, some consulting for other newsletter businesses. My first client was 1440 Media. I worked with them early on, I think back in 2021. They have now surpassed over 3 million subscribers, and they are doing over $15 million in revenue with a staff of just 15 people. They're incredibly profitable. They now have over 3.8 million subscribers. And Tim said that I helped 1440 level up to over 3 million subscribers. He's been a great client to work with. The next client I worked with was Sean Purry. Sean Purry is the founder of the Milk Road newsletter. He's also the co-host of the My First Million podcast. I reached out to Sean back in January of 2022, started working with him on the Milk Road newsletter doing growth, and we grew that newsletter from 10,000 to over 250,000 subscribers in just 10 months. And we got acquired in 10 months. They were acquired for 7 figures after starting the newsletter just 10 months earlier, which is an amazing outcome in such a short period of time. I've actually been involved with 3 different newsletters now that have been acquired successfully: The Hustle to HubSpot, Milk Road to Bitfo, and more recently Charter to Robinhood. I've been working with Charter for, I think, over 17 or 19 months now. I've also created the #1 newsletter and podcast about newsletters. My newsletter has over 26,000 subscribers. I started it about 2 years ago, or a little under 2 years ago. I've used this newsletter to build a business on top of it that does 7 figures in ARR, and that happened in under 2 years. You can see our Stripe numbers right here. Austin Reef, the CEO of Morning Brew, said Matt's newsletter is by far the best resource about all things newsletters. And Austin knows what he's talking about because his newsletter, Morning Brew, was acquired for $75 million in 2022. It was bought by Business Insider. And Morning Brew is on track to surpass over $250 million in lifetime revenue. I've also spoken at the largest conferences about newsletters and digital marketing. I spoke at Traffic and Conversion Summit. One of the other speakers there was Richard Branson. I spoke at the newsletter conference, which was a lot of fun. And all these experiences with these clients and the work on my newsletter has led me to create a system that I call Write, Grow, Sell. And this is really what newsletters all come down to. It's a very simple and elegant business model. You write a newsletter once a week or every day, you send it, you get subscribers, and you monetize that list by either selling sponsorships or selling a product to your email list. That's the thing that attracted me to newsletters back in 2017 or 2018. It is so damn simple, and if you do it right, they can get really, really big. Write, Grow, Sell is the simple system to start, grow, and monetize any newsletter. It helps you do a couple of things. #1 is identify lucrative niches and create addicting newsletter content for those subscribers. It will help you grow your newsletter faster with the right subscribers on autopilot. It's going to help you increase your email engagement, your open rate, your click-through rate, retention, deliverability. So you're going to get more from each subscriber on your email list. And finally, it's going to help you convert your subscribers into profit with sponsorships, info products, or any other product or service you already have in your business. So if you're someone who already has a business that's not a newsletter and you want to start one to grow it, this is going to help you too. I've used this system to generate over 10 million newsletter subscribers for my clients in the past few years and tens of millions of dollars in sales. For example, we helped James Clear generate over 300,000 newsletter subscribers at a 50 cents cost per subscriber in just 4 months. We helped Sahil Bloom go from 175,000 subscribers to over 600,000 subscribers in 12 months. Here's a testimonial from Sawhill below. We helped the Rundown newsletter generate over 150,000 subscribers at less than $1 cost per subscriber. We also helped Cody Sanchez go from 120,000 newsletter subscribers to over 500,000 subscribers in 14 months. I've also helped over 50 companies grow their newsletter, sell more memberships, subscriptions, courses, and information products. We've worked with all different types of niches and industries, from B2B media, local media, creators, authors, fiction, nonfiction, financial publications, sports, general news, info products, SaaS, VC funds, and a whole lot more. You can see some of the clients we worked with on the screen now. So how does the system work? How does Write, Grow, Sell work? It really all comes down to what I call the audience funnel, this reverse pyramid here. It starts with your rented audience, then moving them down to an owned audience, and finally into a monetized audience. A rented audience is the audience that you build on social media through search engines like Google and on video platforms like YouTube or TikTok. Rented platforms have a lot of pros, but also a lot of cons. You should be using them to grow your business, but you shouldn't be relying on them, because the audience that you build on these platforms can be taken away at any time, and there's an algorithm between you and the people that follow you or the people that you want to reach. So a lot of you have seen traffic to media companies and news sites created in the past few years. Social media companies like Facebook, Instagram, X, they do not want you to link off to your own website, to your own newsletter. Their incentive is to keep their users on the platform and not let you have them. Gardner has predicted that traffic from search engines is going to fall by 25% by 2026 because of AI. If you're someone who's relying on search traffic to grow your business, you're at a big risk if you don't have a growing newsletter. And also, some of these social platforms could be banned, like TikTok, for example. It's still kind of in limbo right now. We don't know what's going to happen, but there's always that risk. Algorithm changes in the 2010s and 2020s have killed more businesses than any recession. I mean, just look at how many Google algorithm updates there's been, how many Facebook algorithm updates there have been that have dramatically hurt or killed businesses. For example, Vice has gone bankrupt. BuzzFeed News is dead because they relied on rented audiences to build their business. That is why you need to build an owned audience, an audience via email, SMS, podcast, or a private community, and move that owned audience into a monetized audience. I believe the most important part of the audience funnel is the middle. That is your own audience. If you have a growing and engaged owned audience, you will never run out of customers. And email newsletters are the best place to build your owned audience. There's a couple reasons why. The first is email newsletters are just the easiest to grow. It's way easier to get an email address than a podcast download, community sign up, or a phone number. You have subscriber and customer attribution, so you can see where your newsletter subscribers came from, and you can see when and how they converted into a customer. This allows you to invest more time and money into the marketing channels that make sense for your newsletter, versus if you're trying to grow your podcast, you have no idea where those downloads came from, and you have no idea which podcast listener bought a product. There's no attribution. Email is also the best channel to convert subscribers into customers. Email has a much, much higher click-through rate and conversion rate versus a podcast, a community, and much, much higher, of course, than social media. You can also use a newsletter to grow your other owned audience channels, and it's the best way to do that. You can use a newsletter to grow your SMS list, your private community, and your podcast. Look at The Hustle and My First Million, for example. They promoted that podcast to their newsletter of, at the time, it was 1.5 million subscribers. That quickly grew to 100,000 downloads per episode, and it became a top 10 entrepreneurship podcast. So let's get into the good stuff today. How exactly do we do that? This really starts with two things. Number one is the niche that you pick and the offer that you create for that niche. Picking the right niche and the right offer is going to make growing and monetizing your newsletter 10 times easier. If you have those two things right, you're going to have higher newsletter engagement, you're going to have lower cost per subscribers, and you're going to have a higher subscriber LTV. And so even before you start your newsletter, you need to have this right to set yourself up for success. How to pick a lucrative niche. You either need to be hyper scale or hyper niche. You do not want to be in between. Advertisers want hyper scale. That means the ability to reach millions or tens of millions of people. So you need to have a very broad newsletter with a very big audience. Advertisers want hyper niche, the ability to reach a targeted high value audience, and it could be as small as 5 or 10,000 people. You really need to have one or the other. You don't want to be in the messy middle. If you want to go hyper scale, you need to have a total addressable market of 30 to potentially over 100 million people. And you should be able to grow your audience to over 1 million people in 3 years, and in the long run, over 10 million in a decade. A great example of hyperscale is 1440. I've talked to Tim, the founder there, and he says that their total addressable market in the US alone is over 15 million people. However, when they first started 1440, it started as a weekly email they sent to 78 friends and family members, and then slowly they grew it over time. Now, 5 or 6 years later, they have 3.8 million subscribers. Another cool example is Nice News. This is basically news, but the good stuff, it's positive news without all the negative stuff, without politics. They're doing very well. Morning Brew, you've probably heard of, a great example. They cover general business news, and they have a very large TAM. In the US, they have over 4 million subscribers now. These also can be pretty simple. This is the newsletter called Word Daily. It sends you a new word every day with the definition to help you expand your vocabulary. They do over 58 million opens per month and make a lot of money from advertising. But for most new founders, I would recommend hyper niche. I just see a lot more success and a lot faster success that way, because by narrowing down who your content is for, you stand out more. Most newsletters fail because they try to be everything for everyone, and inevitably they end up being nothing to no one. So we want to avoid that. A couple more reasons on why you should go hyper niche. You can get sponsors with just 5,000 to 10,000 newsletter subscribers, and you can achieve that size pretty quickly. It is much easier to sell a product or service directly to your audience if you're hyper niche. There's endless untapped niches that you can start a newsletter in, and there's way less competition if you go hyper niche. So how do you pick a lucrative niche? There are 4 things you need to consider. Number 1 is, what skills, experience, or interests do you have? Some of the most successful newsletters come from people who have past experience in that industry or on that topic. Number 2 is this a high need audience? Do people have a problem that you can solve? Also, you should think about, is this audience growing, or is this audience or topic trending? Is it going to be bigger than it is now in the next couple years? Number 3, is the audience valuable to advertisers, and how many advertisers are there in this niche? What are the CPMs or ad rates for sponsorships in this niche? The more advertisers, the better, of course, and the higher the ad rates, the better. The final thing is number 4, does the audience buy information, community products, or another product that you're able to sell them? If that audience that you're going after, the niche you're going after, is actively buying the types of products that you can create, that's a great niche to consider. So what I would do is put this into a Venn diagram like this, where we have 4 different quadrants: your skills and experience, your audience size, need and trend, advertising opportunities, and info product opportunities. What you identify in the middle of that Venn diagram is the niche that you should pick. Most people think too broad when they pick a niche. So even if you identify all of that, most people are going to go too broad. When you pick a niche, you should go 2 levels deeper. For example, if we look at a level 1 niche here, that niche might be business. That is very, very broad. You're going to have a large potential audience, but you're also going to have a low LTV. If we go 1 level deeper, a niche below business is marketing. Smaller audience, a little bit better LTV. And then even below that is social media marketing, for example. An even smaller audience, but a much higher LTV. But in the grand scheme of things, social media marketing is still a very big potential audience. This is just an illustration. I would actually go even nicher than this. It's better to start niche and expand as you grow than to start too big and try and go niche later and alienate your audience. So a couple examples of picking a niche and then going 2 to 4 levels deeper. Let's say you want to start a newsletter about fitness. We pick the fitness niche. We go 1 level deeper, which is bodybuilding, and then 1 level deeper than that, which is how to bodybuild on a keto diet. We could go tech, AI for marketing, and then even below that, how to use generative AI to make ad creative. Then we have local news. Local news, things to do in your city, restaurants and food in your city. After you pick a niche and niche down, you can find a topic that you're the best in the world at. And if you're not the best in the world yet, if you're not in the best in the world at it yet, or if you're not an expert yet, that's totally okay. Over time, you're going to become an expert and your content is going to improve. I love this quote by Naval Ravikant: become the best in the world at what you do. Keep refining what you do until this is true. If you follow this path, you will pick a great niche and you will stand out to the audience that you're going after. Okay, we got a lot to cover today, like I said, so I'm going to move fast. We're going to talk about how to create a newsletter offer. It's so good. that would be stupid for people not to sign up to. An offer simply means your value proposition, the reason why people should subscribe to your newsletter. A great newsletter at its core helps the reader solve a problem. It's really that simple. And the more painful the problem, the better. For example, some painful problems: losing your job, failing in your business, losing money in the stock market, losing sleep after having a baby, etc., etc. There's so many problems out there that we can solve. To solve these problems, we're going to use the jobs to be done framework. You can bucket every great newsletter into the job that it's doing for readers. For example, help me save money on flights. There's a great newsletter called Going. They have millions of subscribers and millions in revenue. Help me become a better dad, Daily Dad. Help me build better habits, James Clear. Help me stay informed with just the facts, 1440. Help me get a job on Wall Street. Wall Street Oasis does that. They do millions in revenue. Help me win more fantasy football. Football Guys crushes that. Help me use AI to become more productive. The Rundown does a great job with that. You need to find your job to be done by answering two simple questions. The first is, what is your market of one? This means one person that is your ideal reader that you are going to write to. I want you to think of a specific person, and I want you to think about what would they find extremely useful or interesting. Number two is, what is the concrete job you're doing for them? I need you to be specific. How exactly will you help them fulfill their desires, reach their goals, and solve their problems? If you can't answer these questions, you're not going to be successful with your newsletter. So write this down, answer those questions in detail. And if you have those things right, you're going to stand out way more in the market and you're going to grow much faster. A couple examples of this. It doesn't have to be complicated. This is a newsletter called The Assist. It's a newsletter that helps women become better managers and better professionals at work. This number says almost 80,000 subscribers. They actually recently surpassed over 100,000 subscribers. They do very well, and they acquire subscribers at a very low cost because they have a unique job to be done and a unique offer that not a lot of people are doing. Another one's kind of out of the box is called Anti-Citizen. This is a newsletter that helps you basically be governed less. It helps you get a second passport or residency. It helps you legally reduce your tax liability, increase your freedom, increase your privacy, and live globally. This newsletter is actually pretty new, but it's growing extremely fast, and we're acquiring subscribers at a very, very, very low cost. Another one is called Naptown Scoop. This is a local newsletter for Annapolis, Maryland. It tells you the news like a friend, and it solves one of the problems that most people have with local news. If you turn on your TV or even go to some legacy local news website or newspaper, a lot of the news is about politics and crime, and people just don't want to hear that. What Naptown Scoop does is it covers fun things to do in your city. It covers the news from a positive angle, and it solves a big problem, and it helps people get a benefit, which is discovering things that are useful where they live. After you pick a niche and you pick a job to be done, of course, you need newsletter content. Here is how to create a newsletter template and write high-quality content in less than 2 hours per week with the help of AI. To build your newsletter template, you want to do this section by section. You need to think about what are the sections in your newsletter that will keep the reader engaged and solve a problem for that reader. This should all be informed by what we just talked about, your market of one and your job to be done. There's a lot of different types of sections that you can use in a newsletter, and you want to think about these like building blocks or Legos. Which one is the perfect match for you that's going to help your audience? And the best way to figure this out is to get ideas and inspirations from other newsletters that are really, really good. I want you to swipe templates and sections from the best newsletters out there. Go subscribe to 10 to 20 newsletters with a separate email and pick out the sections that you love that you think you can implement in your newsletter. So a couple ones I would check out first: Morning Brew, 1440, The Hustle, and Axios. All of those have amazing content. But I want to save you a little bit of time here and kind of do that for you. These are the 6 sections that most newsletters should have. Section number 1 is the introduction section. This is where you're going to grab attention, tease the content that's to come in the newsletter, and create an open loop so people keep reading. Oftentimes you'll have like a bulleted agenda list like you see in this screenshot below. Section number 2 is the curated section. This is where you share the best content, news, and resources you found that week or that day. You can summarize things, or you can add commentary or takeaway. This is going to drastically increase the click-through rate of your newsletter, which will improve your engagement and deliverability. Also, your inbox placement. I believe this is a must-have section for most newsletters. Number 3 is also a must-have. This is your ad or promotional section. This is where you promote a sponsor, or promote your product or service. You should keep this under 100 words. Number 4 is the main content section. I recommend original content here. It should be educating, it should inform, it should entertain or tell a story. Ideally, this is under a 5-minute read time because people, in most cases, enjoy shorter newsletters. People want to finish things; they want to feel accomplished. So if you can keep your main content between 500 and 1,000 words, that's more than enough. Also, you need to keep in mind that most people are reading newsletters on their phone, on mobile, in their email app. So you should have no more than 2 to 3 lines per paragraph so you don't have big blocks of text in your newsletters. Number 5 is the outro section. Here, you can basically copy and paste the same section across all of your newsletters. This is going to get you more customers. Here, you can share how you help, more resources, call to actions for your products or services. You should always have a call to action for something that you do in each newsletter. And then number 6 is a poll section where we collect feedback from the newsletter and we identify what people thought of the newsletter. This is the poll on the top right here that I use in my newsletter every single send. How do you like today's newsletter? Love it. It's okay. Not great. You can also use 5 stars, 3 stars, 1 star. Either way works. You can also make this more fun and kind of match it to your personality. You want to aim for a 75% or higher 5-star rating. If you do that, it's great. This is just a really helpful way to get feedback because if you're just sending an email, all you can see is your open rate and your click-through rate. And sometimes you get some replies, but this allows you to get way more insights on what your readers care about than just open rate and click-through rate. That's really not enough. This poll I made right here is with Beehive. It makes it very easy to implement this. But if you don't use Beehive, that's okay. You can just create a poll using 3 images like this. And after someone clicks an image, they can go to a Google form where you can collect more feedback from them. How to write with AI. So this is a short training. I can't cover this in depth. This would be like an hour to go into. But after you have 5 to 10 newsletter issues done, writing becomes a lot easier with help from AI. You also kind of know what you're going to write every week. The tools you should be using are ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity. If you're just using ChatGPT like most people are, and I was the same way for a very long time, you're missing out on a lot of useful things. Claude is the best for writing original content. It has the most natural sounding voice. It doesn't sound as robotic like ChatGPT can. ChatGPT is best for refining and editing your content. It's an amazing proofreader and editor. And Perplexity is best for research, curating news, and finding current events to put in your newsletter. The next thing we'll cover is how to turn one weekly newsletter into over 500 posts per year that bring in tens of thousands of new subscribers for free. Content is your greatest growth lever. Newsletters are a content business at its core. You got to publish content to grow. If you're not doing that, you're not going to grow your newsletter. This creates a growth flywheel. It's basically a 2-step process or a 3-step process. People see content they like from you on Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, search, wherever it might be, wherever you post it. If they like that content, they're going to subscribe to your newsletter for more content. So we have to do that to grow. Publishing an email newsletter alone is not going to grow your audience because newsletters are not discoverable. Very few people are sharing emails or forwarding newsletters to friends. You really need to be on social or a discovery platform where your content can be discovered through an algorithm or it has built-in sharing through a share or retweet button. You need to be utilizing discovery platforms to grow. What we're going to do here is create once and distribute forever. So for every newsletter that you write, that should be repurposed into 5 or more social media posts on 1 to 2 platforms. And the content in those posts can be the same. So for example, I write a weekly newsletter. We repurpose that into 5 posts on Twitter, and then we basically post the exact same thing on LinkedIn. So now we have 10 posts instead of just 5. Your newsletter should also be published as a blog post and optimized for SEO. I get about 30% of my traffic now from search because I've written a newsletter for the past year, and we've done a couple SEO tweaks to boost the traffic there. This is how you get discovered. If your weekly newsletter is repurposed into 5 social posts on 2 platforms and 1 blog post, you're going to be publishing 520 social posts per year and 52 blog posts per year. That is a ton. That's probably 10 times the content you might be doing now, and that's how you're going to grow faster. You create original content, repurpose to social and blog content, and then that content's going to get you new subscribers, and that's going to build a flywheel to keep spinning and spinning faster and faster and growing your business faster. There's also many more ways to grow your list. It doesn't have to be just social media or search. You don't need to be totally reliant on that, and some newsletters get very, very big without them at all. Here is how to get high-quality subscribers on autopilot with this set and forget growth method. This is called the One Reward referral program. It's very, very simple. You've probably seen referral programs like this from newsletters like Morning Brew or The Hustle. When I was working at The Hustle, I managed this program. I did a lot of work on it. It's called a milestone referral program, and these things just don't work anymore. If you look at this, for example, I need to refer the newsletter, meaning share the newsletter of 3 friends successfully to get an ebook, 5 to get stickers, 10 to get a pint glass, etc., etc. Very few people have 5, 10, 25 friends in their network to actually share it with. Most people only have 1 to 3. And so these are just not successful, and it's not worth your time to set all this up. However, referral programs still do work, and you need to do this, still work, and you need to do this instead. You want to give away a digital product in exchange for just 1 referral. For example, this referral program right here, very ugly, but it works. It drove over 26,000 subscribers in 6 months. 1 reward referral programs are 100% automated after you set them up. It's also very easy to set up. And they drive high quality subscribers because this is people recommending your newsletter to a friend, colleague, coworker, or on social media. So if you get recommended something by someone that you trust, you're probably going to read it. So we've seen very, very high quality subscribers and customers from referral programs. So that begs the question, what type of product should you give away for 1 referral? It needs to be a digital product, of course, and it should be a lead magnet style product. If you already have a lead magnet in your business that's working, or multiple lead magnets, you can just use that in your referral program. So you don't even have to create anything. That's awesome. But if you don't, that's totally okay. You can create one pretty quickly. A good referral reward should be short and easy to consume. So you want a less than 10-minute reader watch time. It should give immediate value and concrete benefits. You basically want to share the answers to the test, to use that analogy. You don't want to give people a textbook. You don't even want to give people a study guide. Just give them the good stuff that they need to get an outcome that you can create for them. So this could be a cheat sheet, a checklist, database, a short report, a swipe file, a resource list, a template. All those types of things and more work very well. A couple examples of that. The Milk Road created a report about what crypto whales are buying and selling. They asked like a dozen of their friends who had a lot of money in crypto, talking millions here, what are you buying right now? What are you selling right now? They put that into a spreadsheet and they put that in their referral program, and they got 26,000 subscribers in 6 months. Ben's Bites is a newsletter about AI. He got over 30,000 subscribers from his referral program, and all he did was create a link database that stored all of the links mentioned in his newsletter in a way that's easy to skim and organize and search later. He did that with Airtable. Failery is a newsletter about startups that fail and how to not fail in your startup. He collected about, let's say, 10 to 25 pitch decks from successful startups like Airbnb, Uber, etc., put that in a database, and gave that away for 1 referral. Couple pro tips on how to do this well. You should be using Beehive or Sparkloop to set up your referral program. Those are the best software tools for this. If you're using Beehive, it literally takes like 5 minutes to set this up. It's so easy. You should also change the copy and image you use to promote it every 1 to 2 months. You don't want to have banner blindness. So if you just have the same copy and image in every single newsletter issue to promote your program, people are going to ignore that after a couple weeks. So switch it up. Every time you do, you're going to see a spike in referrals. You should also change the reward every 3 to 4 months. If people are kind of fatigued of that reward, if they don't care about it anymore, if they've already achieved that reward, give them something new every quarter. Also, after you hit 5,000 referrals, you should start to add more digital products to the 3, 5, or 10 referral threshold. So this is Nick Huber's newsletter on the bottom right here. At 3 referrals, you get a delegation hiring cheat sheet. At 5 referrals, you get a growth course. The list goes on. You don't really need more than 3 or 4 rewards. That's more than enough. There's also other types of rewards that work. So shoutouts work very, very well. This is Naptown Scoop. If you refer their newsletter to 3 friends, you get a shout out on your birthday in the newsletter. This is growth in reverse. If you refer her newsletter with 10 friends, you get a mention in the upcoming newsletter, and her newsletter is read by business owners, and so they want that backlink, they want that traffic from a shout out. You should set up a poll trigger email. So when someone gives you positive feedback on your newsletter, let's say they give you a 5-star rating or they give you a love it rating like I have, send them an automated email that says, thank you for saying you love my newsletter. Will you share it with my referral program? And if you do, I will reward you through this reward. So this is what Nico did on the right here of Failery. He actually learned this through my program, and it's driving a lot of referrals for him. This is a must do. Okay. With social post, blog post, and a referral program, you can get to 1,000 subscribers very fast, then over 10,000 subscribers, and even over 100,000 subscribers just with those 3 growth sources. A lot of people have scaled way beyond that with those. But how do you scale to 1 million subscribers, 3, 4 million subscribers, or more? Well, the way you do that is with paid acquisition. And the best paid acquisition source is Meta Ads. It's the number one way to scale your email list to 100,000 or over 1 million subscribers. And if done right, you can actually grow your list profitably with ads. Meta is the best paid growth channel. I've tested literally dozens of different paid channels because I did this at the hustle. Now we do this for over 50 newsletters. We've used Meta to drive over 10 million subscribers at a 50 cent to $2 cost per subscriber. And for many clients, we're able to break even on ad spend on day one and acquire subscribers for free. Here's how you set Meta ads up. It's actually very simple nowadays. You want to use the lead objective. You should always use a website conversion campaign, and you should be using broad targeting. So you just let Facebook do the targeting for you. So you pick your location, you go 21 plus or 21.5 plus, however you want to target things, and you let the Facebook algorithm show your ad to the best possible audience for your newsletter. What's most important with Meta is actually the ad creative, not the media buying, not the setup. All that's pretty simple nowadays. You need to have ad creative that's compelling. And we found these three styles of ad creative work best out of all the dozens of different ad types that we've tested. It's iPhone notes, motion graphics, and UGC videos. Here's some examples of that. These two ads right here both drove tens of thousands of subscribers for less than $1 per subscriber. And all we did was type them out in our iPhone's Notes app, took a screenshot, and used that as an ad. If you don't have an iPhone, you can even just build this with Canva, which is what we do now because it's easier to do that on desktop. The second type is a motion graphic. This is when you have text on screen and a video in the background. It doesn't really matter what the video is. It could be a video of the beach like you see here on the left, a guy walking across the street, a drone shot of a city, whatever it is. What's most important is a good copy. So if the copy is compelling here, these are going to work great. And they're very easy to duplicate, change the copy, and make dozens of different motion graphics to test. Here's a couple more examples of motion graphics. You can also combine an iPhone note screenshot with a motion graphic. That will work too. The third type is UGC videos. This is an actor or creator making a short video about why your newsletter is awesome. We find the videos that are 20 to 30 seconds long work best. You can make motion graphics with CapCut or Capwing. These are the tools that I recommend for video editing. CapCut is free. Capwing is very cheap. They're kind of like Canva for video editing. They're very easy to use. You can use arcads.ai to create AI-generated UGC videos that look like a real person, and it costs $50 a video. It's very inexpensive. You can also find amazing UGC actors with Fiverr. They cost about $100 to $150 per video, and a lot of those actors will help you script the video for you, so you don't have to do a lot of the work. With meta ads, you want to set up one campaign, one broad ad set, and you got to test a ton of different ads. You should start with 4 ads and test 2 to 3 new ads every single week. If you're not testing new ads, you're not going to succeed with meta. You also need to be using a thank you page, a landing page and a thank you page. Don't use Facebook lead forms. The quality that you'll get from Facebook lead forms is much lower than the quality you'll get if you send people to a landing page and a thank you page. Now, that's how to set up your meta ads. That's how to do ad creative. Let's talk about how to grow with ads profitably. You can make $1 to $3 every time someone signs up for your newsletter if you set this up. There's 4 ways to immediately make money after sign up. The first is paid recommendations. This is when you recommend other newsletters get paid. Then there's tripwire offers. You can sell a low ticket product after sign up. Lead generation, where you sell leads and get paid per lead by advertisers or sponsors. Affiliate offers, where you promote offers in your sign up flow and earn a cost per lead or cost per sale commission. Let me walk you through those. The first one is paid recommendations, and the most popular tools for this are Sparkle Subscribe and Beehive Boost. You can earn 50 cents to $1 per subscriber on average with these tools, and they're very easy to set up. Both of them take about 30 minutes or less to set up in your newsletter. After you set them up, it's automated. You can set it and forget it. There's a network of over 300 newsletters that you can recommend. Here's what they look like. You've probably seen this out in the wild somewhere. After you sign up for a newsletter, it pops up. You can sign up for other newsletters, or you can choose not to. Tripwire offers are very straightforward. This is when you sell a low ticket, low price product on your thank you page, usually a price point of $7 to $79. You want to target a 1 to 3% conversion rate on that thank you page, and it needs to be an impulse buy. It needs to be a high value. It needs to be a great offer, maybe a discount, maybe a free trial, and it has to be a low price point so people can make a decision right on that page. Here's an example from Matt Gray. He sells a bundle of 3 courses for $29. If you were to buy them outside of this, I think it will cost hundreds of dollars to buy them, so he gives a big discount. These work well because if you sell a $49 product, for example, on your thank you page, and just 2% of subscribers buy on that page, you're going to make 98 cents per subscriber. We call that earnings per subscriber. Number 3, lead generation. You can collect data on your subscribers through a post sign up survey and sell the email addresses of the subscribers to sponsors that want certain users with a certain criteria. You can sell qualified leads for $50 to up to $200 each. Let me show you what that looks like right now. This is a newsletter from Industry Dive, like I mentioned before. It is a B2B newsletter about investing in multifamily housing. After I sign up for the newsletter, I go through a survey where I add in my name, job title, name, company size, etc. And then I have a checkbox at the bottom of that survey where I can check a box to access basically a lead magnet that is relevant to their content. All of these lead magnets are sponsored from an advertiser. So if I check that box and I sign up, they're going to sell my information to that advertiser for anywhere between 50 to 250 bucks. Now I have to be qualified, right? So I probably need to have a minimum company size. I need to be the right job title for the type of lead that they're going after. But if I am qualified, they will get paid 50 to 250 bucks per lead, which is pretty incredible. For B2B businesses like Industry Dive, this can be a big chunk of their revenue. Lead generation is usually between 10 to 30% of revenue for a B2B media newsletter or media business. The fourth thing, of course, is affiliate offers. This is where you promote an affiliate offer or multiple offers on your thank you page. The best type of affiliate offers are deals that you get paid for when you drive a lead or a click. I don't want you to go and recommend products where you only take a commission of the sale, because it's really hard to drive sales for something that's not your product on your thank you page. But if you can get paid $5 to $10 per lead or $1 to $5 per click, that will be a very lucrative thing to add to your thank you page. Here's an example again from the Assist. They do a very good job with it. They're able to recoup about 70 to 100% of their ad spend on day one just through simple affiliate offers on their thank you page. You can also do all these three things together and earn even more. Here's MarketBeat, for example. They do all this. They do paid recommendations after sign up. Then they have an offer wall of affiliate offers after you go through the paid recommendation. And then after you go through the offer wall, they give you a limited offer on their subscription where they give you a big discount and try and get you to buy right there on this page. Works super well. So let's break down like a simple conservative example for this. Let's say we earn $1 per subscriber of SparkLoop, and 1% of subscribers buy a $79 product on our thank you page. So we're going to earn 79 cents per subscriber. Now we have an immediate earnings per subscriber of $1.79 after every single sign up for our newsletter. So we go out to Meta Ads, we buy subscribers for $2. We have a $1.79 earnings per sub. Now we have a net CPA of 21 cents per subscriber. That is extremely low, and it's also very achievable for many newsletters. You can make back that remaining 21 cents per sub in less than 30 days of sponsorships and product sales, and you're going to have huge ROI on that subscriber over time. Speaking of sponsorships, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to sell sponsorships even if you have a small email list. If you have a high value niche newsletter, you can start to sell sponsorships with just 5,000 subscribers, sometimes even less. And as you grow, sponsorships become more and more lucrative because advertisers, of course, will pay more to get in front of a bigger audience, and you can sell ads at a higher rate. Also, it's more attractive to advertisers because you now have a bigger audience, which can drive more customers or users for their business. So sponsorships can start a little bit challenging, but they become easier and easier over time. It creates a snowball effect as you continue to grow your newsletter and sell more sponsorships. First thing you need to know is pricing. Sponsorships are priced on a cost per click or a CPM, which means cost per 1,000 opens. At first, you should probably price your ads on a cost per click. That's usually between a $5 to $10 cost per click. You can charge more later. Some niches can charge a lot more, and some lower value niches should charge less. So let's say your ads drive 100 unique clicks on average, and you want to charge $5 per click. That means you should price your ad at $500. You should have a flat fee of $500. The best way to find sponsors for your newsletter is to see who's sponsoring other similar newsletters and reach out to them. So you should be subscribing to every newsletter in your niche that is similar to you, or even outside your niche that has a similar audience or somewhat similar content. This should probably be 10 to 25 newsletters, and you want to see who's sponsoring these newsletters. Then you need to find the contact information of the person who is doing those ad buys and reach out to them via email and LinkedIn. If your newsletter is a good fit, you're going to sell that sponsorship. Later on, you can automate this entire process with software and a $5 to $7 per hour virtual assistant. There's great outreach software out there like Instantly, HubSpot, and there's easy ways to identify who these advertisers are. Those tools are Open Rates, and who sponsors stuff. So it can be very automated after you scale this process. You can also get sponsors from your audience. So you need to be promoting your sponsorship options to your newsletter subscribers. You should promote sponsorship offerings in your newsletter, on your website, and of course on social media. Here's an example of that below. There's also some cool things you can do. You can enrich your email data with LinkedIn data. There's a tool called megahit.app that allows you to do this. It will help you identify prospects who might be a good advertiser in your newsletter or a client for your product or service. You can see if they subscribe. You can see their job title, their organization, their employee. You can click and find their LinkedIn account. You can see how many opens and clicks they had for your newsletter. And you can reach out to them with a personalized message, or you can just put them in a cold outreach sequence. It's way easier to sell to an advertiser who's already subscribed versus someone who's not subscribed. You should also be selling sponsorships and custom content. Sponsorships, of course, mean an ad spot in your newsletter like we saw before. Custom content is different. This means a sponsored post about the advertiser, and you're probably going to publish that post as a newsletter to your entire list and a blog post. And you can sell this for a whole lot more. It's going to create more value for them. So it can be sold at 3, 5, or even 6 times higher than a primary ad spot. So if we're using some conservative math here, let's say you're selling ads for $500 a piece, you can sell a custom content piece for $2,500 or more. Custom content could be a product review for the advertiser, a deep dive on their story, a how-to article about how to use or benefit from their product, a listicle, like 10 ways to do something around their product. There's so many different options. You want to find something that's a good fit for your audience that they care about and also makes sense for the advertiser. It's always, in most cases, pretty straightforward, and advertisers love this stuff. Plus, there is a whole lot more ways you can monetize your newsletter. Sponsorships are really just scratching the surface. And when most media newsletter businesses are going to have 2 to 5 ways to monetize their audience, and that's how they make a lot of money. The one thing I want to talk about now is email automation, how to make money in your sleep with email automation. These are really important. Email automations work for you 24/7. It's basically robots working for you in your sleep. While you're sleeping, email automations are working to engage your readers, sell your products, drive referrals, and build trust with your audience. Automations give you leverage. They enable you to get value from your email list without writing the new newsletter every day or every week. And if you're not using them, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. There's 4 types of email sequences that you should be using. Number 1 is the welcome sequence. Number 2 is your win back sequence, trigger sequence, and finally sales sequences. Let me explain what I mean by these. A welcome sequence is usually 5 to 10 emails sent over 30 days after a new subscriber joins your list. So it could be immediately someone gets your welcome email, and then 1 day later they get another email, 2 days later they get another email, et cetera, et cetera. This is the number one way to build trust and sell your product or service to new subscribers. You really have to have this. A win back sequence is very simple. This is going to be 1 to 2 emails in a sequence that is sent to a subscriber who's disengaged. So after someone has 0 opens or clicks after they've been on the list for at least 14 to 21 days. This is important because it's way easier to keep an existing subscriber on your list than trying to get a new subscriber. So if we're able to reduce our churn, increase our retention, we're going to grow a lot faster in the long run. And most people just never do this, so they're missing out on this opportunity. The next sequence is the trigger sequence. This is an email sent to subscribers after they take a key action. These emails are designed to prompt subscribers to take a action at the right time. It's right place, right time marketing. This is probably the most powerful sequence that you can use. You can set up a trigger based off of a positive poll response, a successful referral, a completed survey, a certain number of emails open, like 10 or 100, a certain amount of time on your list, like 30 days or 1 year, or even after a certain link click. So let's say someone clicks your sales page or clicks a certain product or whatever it might be, you can trigger an email to send to them after they do that. It's very, very powerful because you're sending it at the right time and your message is way more relevant to them. So it's going to get a much higher response rate. And the final sequence is a sales sequence. This is a series of emails sent after subscribers are engaging with your newsletter and they completed your welcome sequence. So you don't want to have people in 2 sequences at the same time, unless it's a short sequence that just has 1 email. You want these to be separate, and it's very easy to set that rule in your automations. This is usually 3 to 5 emails long, but it could be longer, and it's, of course, designed to drive sales. So what I like to do with this is after a subscriber has gone through my welcome sequence, and after they have at least a 40% open rate and 10% click-through rate, I'll put them into a sales sequence designed to drive sales to my product. And it's very effective because these people are already loving my newsletter. And so they're much more likely to buy. All I have to do is ask them to and tell them why they should, of course. If you set up these 4 sequences, you're going to double your sales, especially if you don't have any at all. Most people either don't have this or are just not doing enough email marketing through automations. And once you set them up, it's completely automated. Yeah, you do need to update these occasionally, but you can probably update them once a quarter, every other month, and be very, very successful. Let's talk about how does this all back out? Like, how do we get to 10K subscribers, and how much money do we make when we get there? Subscriber growth is actually pretty simple if we put the math together. So if you add just 28 subscribers per day, you're going to reach over 10,000 subscribers in 1 year. And if we have 83 subscribers per day, you'll get to 10,000 subscribers. You'll get to over 10,000 subscribers rather in just 4 months. And I know some of those numbers might sound high to you if you don't have a newsletter or you just started, but if you follow the tactics I'm going to teach you and you start to get a snowball effect where things compound on itself, it's going to be very easy to get to those numbers quickly. The math behind your first 10K is pretty simple. This is just one way to do it. There's many different ways to 10K, but let me break this down for you. If you add 20 subscribers a day for 3 months, you're going to have 1,800 subscribers. If we convert 3% of those, just 3%, to a $99 product that's over $5,000 in revenue, let's say we earn just 50 cents per sub from Boost or Sparkloop, that's $900. If we convert 1% of subs to a $250 coaching call, that's $4,500, over $10,000 in revenue just through those 4 different revenue streams. And those numbers are pretty conservative. You can even do a lot more with that number of subs. That's also without any sponsors or affiliates. And usually sponsors are the biggest revenue streams for most newsletters that I work with. Here's the math behind a $10,000 per month newsletter. So let's break this down for you. Let me walk you through this. Let's say we sell just 4 sponsorships a month at $500 per ad spot. And keep in mind, you can, even if you only send 4 times a month, you can sell more than 4 sponsorships a month because you'll place these in the future. A lot of the newsletters that I talk to have ads sold out for multiple months or even up to 6 months or a year as they're growing their newsletter. So we sell 4 ads at $500, $2,000. We sell 1 piece of custom content per month for $2,000. That's $2,000. We sell a $150 information product to 20 customers per month. That's $3,000. Sell 8 coaching calls at $250. That's $2,000 in revenue. We sell $2,000 worth of other people's products and we take a 30% commission, $600. And we make 50 cents per sub with Sparkloop or Boost and add 1,000 subscribers per month. That's another $500. Over $10,000 in revenue with those monetization channels. There's a lot of different ways of the 10K that you can also get a lot bigger than 10K. I just want to show you one example like this to illustrate this. Like I said, a lot more past the $10,000 or more if you're a newsletter, and newsletters can get much, much bigger than this. They can be big businesses. Just look at a couple examples here that I could find. A couple of these I've actually worked with, like I said before. Milk Road was acquired for 7 figures in just 10 months. Industry Dive was acquired for $525 million in 10 years. Morning Brew was acquired for $75 million in 5 years. The Hustle was acquired for $27 million in 4 years. The Peak was acquired for $3.75 million in 3 years. Finimize was acquired for $111 million in 5 years, and Axios was also acquired for $525 million in 7 years. Some of the biggest acquisitions in the world of media have come from newsletters. So that's the main content I have for you today. I hope this helps.